Art of the Elements, Episode 1. Today we're talking about 3 elements named after nation-states: Germanium, Polonium and Francium. Germanium is perhaps most important in that it was known as ecosilicon in Mendelev's periodic table, meaning that it occupied the empty space below silicon in the table, waiting to be discovered at the point when Mendeleev actually created his table. This is one of the things that really showed that he had the right idea with the table. He had many predictions about things like density and the atomic mass and the melting point and the even just the physical appearance of the material, how it would react with chlorine and with oxygen and the densities of the products formed there, which all proved to be very close approximations to what was actually found. The element itself was first discovered in 1886 by Clemens Winkler from the silver mineral argyrodite. The element was originally going to be called Neptunian after the fact that this element had been predicted by science, by chemistry, and Neptune itself, the planet, had been predicted and discovered earlier due to mathematics. It was the first planet to be found by prediction instead of just, looking. And however, another element at the same time, which was had been isolated but not formally accepted as discovered, was also going to be called Neptunium. Interestingly, neither of these ended up being called Neptunian, and the element now known as Neptunium was actually discovered in 1940. Instead, Winkler decided to call the element Germanium after his homeland of Germany. The main use of germanium was actually as a semiconductor between the 50s and the 70s, before high-purity silicon became widely available. It's still used in various other optic technologies and in infrared detectors. Next up is polonium, which was discovered in 1898 by Marie and Pierre Curie, the, of course, famous husband and wife team with Marie, the first woman to win Nobel Prize. It is, of course, named after Poland, which was Marie's homeland, which at the time was partitioned by Russia, Prussia, and the Austrian Empire. And Marie wanted to highlight the lack of independence of her nation. So this is perhaps the first chemical element that, in its name alone, managed to cause a political controversy. There were many at the time that didn't want the element to be called this because of such a controversy. Polonium is highly, highly toxic because of its radioactivity. In fact, if you've heard of polonium, it's likely due to polonium-210 that was used to kill the Russian dissident Alexander Litvinenko back in 2006, which was all over the media. It's also suggested that the leukemia of Irene Curie, the daughter of Marie and Pierre, was caused by polonium poisoning from stuff in labs. Polonium, of course, is highly toxic, so people try and keep it away from you. It's got a couple of uses in anti-static applications, and potentially lethal doses can be found in paintbrushes, but as long as you don't eat the paintbrushes, you should probably be fine. But it can also be found in cigarettes, and tobacco companies did try for a good 40 years to remove it without any success. And finally for today, we have francium. Francium was first discovered in 1939 by Marguerite Percy, who was a female French scientist who, unsurprisingly, like most female French scientists of the era, was inspired by Curie. This is very, very radioactive. The isotope with the longest half-life is approximately 22 minutes, which is not very long at all. At any one time in the Earth, there is only about 20 to 30 grams in existence, and the largest amount that's ever been found in the lab is 300,000 atoms, which weighs about 0.00000000000000001 grams, which, isn't much. The discoverer, Perry, was the first woman to be inducted into the French Institute of Science, perhaps due to her tactical naming of the element after France itself. She was the first woman to receive this honour, something that was not received by either Marie Curie or Irene Curie, despite both winning Nobel Prizes in their lifetime. That's all for the first episode of Art of the Elements. If you want to suggest which elements should be done next, and some ideas for paintings, I'll admit that I started with these ones because the ideas to paint were fairly simple, so go easy on my talent. And if you have any other facts about these elements or any other elements that you think I should incorporate into future videos,